We're taking a cab to the Petit Palais because I'm too lazy to walk. And the last couple days when we walked over that bridge and I didn't know what that building was, I guess that's it. It's a beautiful palace that has gonna house the Boldini exhibit. Wow. They've gilded the tops of these really beautifully. This building is spectacular. Totally worth the taxi drive. I feel that I just exhaust myself if I am walking and then trying to go into a museum and stand and see all the artwork. Alright, so now I have to find out. Oh, probably go in there. Ooh, there's a lot of construction everywhere. Lots. They've obviously done a lot of restoration on this building. It's sort of an attraction all in itself.
Get a reflection of the building across the street.
Yeah, so there's a sister building across the street that I'm sure they're fixing up for future exhibitions. Scott's gonna hide from my camera. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fun.
Maybe that was it. Maybe you just showed it that.
What?
Maybe you just showed your ticket to the guy.
No, he was just telling us which door to go in.
Okay.
I think we show the people over there. Or who knows? Oh, maybe we show the people over there.
Probably at the end.
Honestly, Scott, this building is gorgeous, and I feel like just seeing the building is worth the ticket. We're gonna go see the Boldini show, but...
That's probably true.
Right. But we have to take a look at all this beauty before we go see it. Look at that courtyard. I love the fact that they allow you to video in all these museums. You know, the Met doesn't allow you to video. But for all the people that can't travel here, that want to see what it looks like. Scott disappeared. He's ditched me. Oh, he's up there. Oh wow, this is stunning. I haven't been here before. The little baby cat's eating something. It looks kind of sad. It looks like they're eating a goat. I guess that's life. That went. I think he's hiding from my camera. Wow, well, she's holding two birds, two dead birds. And a rabbit and some more birds. Boy, she's a good hunter. This is such a refreshing experience compared to the Musée d'Orsay. The rooms are huge, the lighting is better. So this is George Clairon. Portrait of Sarah Bernhardt. We really didn't show our ticket to get in here, so I don't know if it's just free or if there's a special room for the Boldini that you have to show. We will find out. Carriages like this. So 1740 to 1750. Oh my God. There's really just room for one person in there. Stunning walls. So this is, actually it's a bunch of different panels put together to make one large painting. About 4 or 5 different panels. And parts of this painting are actually quite good. You know, they have to simplify it because it's meant to be seen from far away. But when you look at close-ups in certain areas, it's quite nice. So these are little girls, and then it looks like this definitely looks like a boy dressed up like a girl. And then here is a little person. This painting is done by Fernand Pelez, 1888. Oh, a little monkey up there. It's hard to show subtlety when you're filming like this. The phone always makes everything so much more contrasty. But the little person is quite nice, and the animals are quite nice. This is another one by Fernand Pelez. Gosh, I've never heard of this artist, and he's quite good. Wow, look at that. No, this is really nice. Even the way he made the mother's eyes quite red around them to show tiredness. This is a stunning painting. Yeah, no. I mean, this little girl in the shadow and the fabric. Textures. You can tell he's painted over and over again because you see thickness in the background, but then it looks like he gave a wash so that like the textures showed, had a little bit of aging. one of the funnest things is to go to a museum and find new artists. Yeah, it's lovely. You know, I wonder if it would look different if it was cleaned, but it's just the mood of it. Oh my gosh, especially that little girl in hiding and the faces of the mother. Oh wow. Obviously it's a sad painting, you know, it's like, oh, but it doesn't actually matter subject matter. Now that painting looks quite nice too, but it's too far away to see. And that painting up there, it's just too far away to see. Obviously looks like some kind of tons of babies and birthing, and so I don't know what's going on there. But these two paintings by Fernand Pelez, I'll kind of show them next to each other, are really, really, really nice. Now this is much, much over life size. It's huge. So you see how he has to simplify everything, knowing that it's going to be seen from far away. So a lot of this paint is like washes. It's the only thick strokes are in the lights. Everything else is really just washes, and some of it you can actually see some of the canvas. And the canvas looks like it's been toned with like a kind of a burnt umber wash. This was done in 1895. Isn't this amazing how big it is? Could you imagine how long this took to paint?
It's interesting how normally you make the person that's closest in the foreground life size, and then everything goes back. It's supposed to be meant to be seen high up.
Oh, sure, and just
Because
from far away.
Much larger than life size.
Yeah.
In the foreground.
And it looks like just a bunch of underpainting. Oh my God, even look at this chicken. It's so subtle. The mastery of being able to like keep details out and just paint the larger shapes and having thick paint only in the lights. Everything else is so transparent. Oh, the silverware.
Can you imagine how heavy this frame is?
Oh, we were saying how big this frame is. I mean, this had to have been majorly commissioned for some building. You really can't even stand back that far because there's sculptures right behind me. Oh, I think that's... I wonder what church that is up there. Huh. It's obviously market day. I wish I could video up close every part of it and show you how loose and subtle it is. Seriously, it's all very, very, very transparent and very loose, actually. Hard to describe. Much better to see in person. So far, this museum is really worth it. The figures in the background are actually quite dark. My phone is lightening them a little bit, but I love these poses. So this artist is Benjamin Constant. Joseph Benjamin Constant, 1845 to 1902. It's almost impossible to kind of film these because of the different glares of different windows and lighting, but oh, I love the figures in the background so much.
Oh my God. There's.
You can't film them because the photos come out too bright.
Yeah. In the photos you can make it darker, but in the video,
Yeah.
do they not allow you to do that?
Look at that chandelier. But sometimes if you can touch on a white spot, but there's no white spot there.
Oh.
Look at this little kid's drawing. This is so sweet.
Oh my God, that's fun.
So in the museum, they have these tables for kids to do sketches of.
Sue is in heaven here, seeing great art and filming it for everybody to share it with. That's her purpose in life.
I think that's a fun idea to get kids. Oh, look at, there's a girl. She looks like she's a fashion model. Oh, and then there's another interesting, yeah, I'll have to find that painting in here. That painting above is stunning. Who did that? It's so hard to... Wow. Who did that? I'm assuming it's Ami Moreau, the Good Samaritan. All of these paintings are quite small, and they remind me a lot of the Italian artist Fortuny. So, at that time, there was a style that people painted. And then we see as he gets older, his portraits are going to be a lot more looser, huger, more alla prima. You start to see a little bit more looseness, especially in the backgrounds. And the action of the horse, like all artists, we evolve. This room is very dark. It's huge red walls. And so it's fascinating why they chose this color. Now that room in there was green. So, and then that room in there is gray. This is actually quite loose. The Russian Church on Rue Daru, 1910. See these beautiful horses. This actually looks quite alla prima. 1876. This is a very dark painting, like a nighttime nocturne Nocturne à Montmartre. So horses, almost abstract, with the moon and the lights from the streets. It's very transparent, but it's like a brown and blue painting. A lot of some of these works are kind of just grays, browns, and blues. 1900. Now these are getting to be more of a style that I recognize. Full figure, very stylized. This is actually a pastel. So, wow, it's amazing to do a full figure pastel portrait like this. The elongation of the neck and the hands, the arms, the feet, making everything very feminine. Problem. This is another pastel. His style really lends it to pastel, these sweeping strokes. But you can definitely tell. I mean, look at how long the arms are. It's freakishly long. And then you have something like this, which is quite small, quite tight or refined. I really love the way he did the fabric in this painting. Just a brown and blue painting. I actually really like this. This is a pastel. It's so abstract, and the only thing that's realistic is her breast and her face. Everything else is just movement. Wow, I love it. It would be actually nice if they did pastels and things under glass and had some kind of partition or wall that was dark so we wouldn't get reflections from across the room. That is actually really exceptional. So far, definitely his pastels are my favorite. This is a watercolor. This is a fun pose. Very playful. In the phone, the photos always come out very, very tight, maybe, but in reality, the paintings have a lot of brushiness. There's refinement in the face, but then the backgrounds, the cloths are always very, very loose and expressive. This is a self-portrait. Now, to think about it, self-portraits had to have been done by a photograph. Because he's not looking at himself or anything at him. But I also think the mastery is how light he kept the darks in the face. You see, the darkest dark is actually in the tie, which is fascinating. How he could hold that together, and the shadows in the face are so much lighter. Some of the paintings are not allowed to be photographed, probably because of the collectors, their suggestion, they don't want it to be shown. But we are so lucky that most of them we can. But look at the exaggeration. Look at how long that arm is compared to her head. It's amazing he could get away with it. I'm curious, I wish I could ask people back then why they did that. I guess just more elegance. This was painted in 1894. Not that one. It looks like maybe some of the portrait commission, maybe the men. I don't know. Look at only the women we can photograph, but a few of the men we can't. Yeah, unfortunately, this painting is facing a doorway. So it's a little bit hard to get a nice, but this is one of my favorites. These are very monochromatic. It's a lot of grays, violets, warms for the shadows, but everything is very middle value. There are no true darks. There's a little bit of a dark right there in the belt, and then the darks of the eyes. So I think everything leads you to the eyes, whereas he doesn't have any darks anywhere else in the background or down near her feet. I mean, what a pose. I'd like to know, how can you have someone pose like that? It has to be from a photo. You see how soft the edge is on the forehead, and he accentuates the edge on the nose, allowing that to disappear, and then the edges along the fabric. Very, very, very monochromatic. So this is a drawing portrait that he did of Paul Helou, and Sargent was a good friend of Paul Helou's also. My father actually bought two, I think, etchings of his in the early 90s, so we have those at our house, Paul Helou's. I love knowing how all these artists knew each other back then, you know. For posterity, it's such a fun thing to know who hung out, who was inspired by each other. This is a self-portrait. Wow, that's really, really nice. Very much a limited palette. And I love also the fact that he didn't, let's just say he didn't make himself prettier. I haven't seen a still life from him before. What I've been really inspired by is that this is done in 1907, is, you know, what Scott and I are really interested in having some of our painting be realistic, pointing you to a center of interest, and then the rest just being a supporting character. Energy, brushwork, design, composition leading you to a focal point. And Boldini sure does it. Oh, you can even see that he was going to put apples at the top and they were just gestured in and he didn't get to them. Very, very kind of abstract still life. Pheasants. Here you can see definitely there is difference of styles. He has multiple ways of painting. Boy, that marble really looks like marble. Some of his work looks very contemporary. Oh, and this one looks very Sargent-y. Oh, no, I have seen that still life before. Yeah, no, I have seen. I'll get a close-up of that soon. This looks like a weird one. This looks like hands. Oh, a hand's picking up pansies. Wow. Another one, a hand, just a hand coming in and picking up flowers. So this is 1897. The perspective is so intriguing. And look at the glow of the green in between the plates. A vertical still life. That's pretty cool.
So while Susan is off looking at some other things, I decided I'm going to come here and spend about 20 minutes and just study this one painting, which is something I love to do when I'm at museums. If I have one that I really love, there's something I can learn from, I really will spend a long time. And this painting is one that I just absolutely love. Now, the way I study a painting is I look at it for a while and just enjoy it, look around at different things, and you'll kind of see different things you like. Just let your eye go where they will, the face, the hands, the textures. But then I've done that for a while. Now I'm going to look at it more systematically. And what I like to do is go up to the very corner. I'll zoom way in, up in the corner, and I will just study. And I will slowly go across the painting, and I will just look at one little area. And I will move across it and see what's the color. And I notice on the camera here, the color's not coming out right. It looks much more yellowish than it's showing up on here. I don't know if that's from the varnish, but I think it's actually the look they're going for. And I'll look across the whole thing, just much slower than this. And I'll go down. And then I'll do it like a grid. And I'll look at real close little areas. And I'll go up and down and across to the whole thing. What this does is it allows you to study areas like I would be more like this. Be real looking at just a small little area, really studying it, maybe going at this kind of a speed, and just looking at the texture, the color, the edges, how soft and subtle things are. So this forces you to look at areas that you might not normally look at. And a lot of times in a painting, the face is beautifully done, but the reason that something has the effect is because of things that are really subtle, like subtle edges or lost edges. Or even down here, like these grays in the foreground. How did he handle these areas that are really kind of not the area you want to look at, but you'll see how, kept them very muted color-wise. Very simple. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. And just study this for about 20 minutes. So anyhow, there's just an idea of how to look at things. Because you'll end up seeing things that you wouldn't remember if I told you to describe the whole painting to me. A lot of times you'll miss things that actually are causing the center of interest to look like the center of interest. So anyways, okay, I'm going to go out and study this for a while now. So for example, if you look at this edge here, I'm just going to go up this edge. Now look at the subtle colors in the dark here. But look at the edge of this cloth as it goes up. And this is something I hadn't noticed at all as I looked at it quickly. But as you go up, you see how it's soft and varied, and now we have a sharper part there. And then as it goes up, as it goes to the edge of the canvas, see how it now starts to fade out and get lost. Same thing down here. We go down the edge, you see different varieties of edge. Some lost, some found. And as it comes down here, it kind of gets lost. So those are the kinds of things that you can start to notice when you really study a painting. Other things that I notice in this is the stages this was done at. Look at all this incredible texture here. And then you see sharp edges, like where the lettering is put on. And there's parts in the faces as well that you'll see that. So obviously this was allowed to dry quite a bit. And then some of these sharp things were done over the top of it. You see this all throughout the painting. You can really, if you really study it, you can see the things that were done wet into wet, and then the things that were done dry. You thoroughly let it dry. Even in the faces here, you can see that this was done in multiple layers and then dry brushed over the top of it. It's what I've been doing a lot, even with really thick paintings. So look at all that texture. That's dry brush, just on the face itself. That's where it's important to, if you're going for that, is to let layers dry, work in another area, then come back into it and dry brush. It's really cool through this whole painting. You can tell this took months to do. I might have worked on several of them at the same time, but look at that texture. Again, all the layering that goes into that to create that beautiful warms and cools, and all of them are grays. There's really no pure colors in this painting for the mood of the painting, but there's still a lot of variety of color inside it, variety of grays. You can see like some of these darks here, that little dark under the arm. Everything was dried, and then he put that right on top of it to get the sharp edge that he wanted. Pretty masterful painting. And the lettering itself, too, has no texture. It's flat. Even though the background that it's on has a texture to it. It's hard to explain how brilliant this painting is. That's why, to me, I just like to spend the whole time in front of this painting, studying it and learning as much as I can from life. Because once I get home, I can see the photographs, but it's not going to quite give me all that I can see from life, with all the texture and the subtlety. Video is not picking up all the subtlety. And again, you can see in these sorts of things, these darks, a lot of these dark accents were put over the top of what was done underneath. That was all done underneath without any of those little folds. Bigger shapes with texture, and then that was added in later. Okay, I'm going to go in really close here to show you some of the textures. Some are thicker, like this, and probably brushed on. And then this is really kind of just scraped. And just this wall here. So some is applied thick and some is done thin, and you can just see how I scraped with the palette, and I've painted things on and then scraped it to give this variety of colors. Again, their values are right, but there's just subtle differences in the grays. A little warmer gray, a little cooler gray, a little dark, a little scraping. And as you come down here, it's more of kind of brushwork down in the foreground here. And then on this black cloth here, we've got very subtle dark textures. So variety. This paper chandelier. We're gonna have lunch in the cafe at the Petit Palais now, and this has been a highlight, a real highlight. Scott is saving me a seat while I order. No, it's super fun. Really glad we came. What a beautiful place to have lunch. We're having
Caesar salads sitting in the garden. This is the beautiful courtyard. Kind of murky water. I don't know what these flowers are. They look like, almost like hydrangeas, but not. I don't know. Palm trees. It's very beautiful in here. In the basement, there is a ton of more artifacts and religious art. And it's a little bit visually overstimulating. I really did like this piece, and I think a lot of times we come to museums and you get inspired by not only just composition, but like frames. So I'm taking a picture of this for the frame. The light is too close, it's hard to photograph. I love the graphic patterns and how the designs are painted on the clothes. So this was Florence. I can't read the writing. I mean, what year it is. Every room has something that's so beautiful. Look at this sculpture. Wow. So this is Joan of Arc, 1875 by Emmanuel Freenet. I'm so glad we came downstairs. We were really just looking for the bathroom. Oh my God, a Waterhouse. I'm kind of in shock at what's down here. Look at how high key the flesh tones are. So everything around the flesh is dark, but the flesh stays very, very high key. Scott, isn't it fun that we came down here just looking for a bathroom?
Oh my God,
And
I'm
then,
so happy we didn't miss this.
I mean, literally. Because you know what? I was telling Scott that you have to go to the gift shop and you have to look at what they sell in the gift shop, because that tells you usually what's in the museum. And they didn't have a Waterhouse postcard, but they had some other postcards. And I was like, these have to be somewhere. Let's take another look. But that Waterhouse is stunning. Honestly, I think that's one of my favorites. Look at how high key the flesh tones are. I know.
He doesn't really have any true darks.
No, not in the flesh.
Darkness colors. Well, even in the background. All the darks have color to it.
Unfortunately, the fluorescent lights that are flickering, in my video. So, but wow, that is stunning. And look at the reflection in the water. So when I teach people about reflections, always make the reflections much more ghost, softer, darker. Don't have the reflections in the water compete with the actual figure. This is Frederick Leighton. It's a beautiful composition. Really lovely how simple and darks in the figures, and the only lights are in the background. So truly backlit. Nothing in the figures can be as light as the background. Really lovely, Frederick Leighton. My shoes are squeaking. Here's another Waterhouse. I always think of Waterhouse as being so kind of refined and tight, but the best artists, can have such looseness and refinement.
Used to seeing him small in a book.
Right.
Wow, he's just abstract. Quality to it. Seen that many Waterhouses in person, just the way they get shown up in a couple.
Yeah, no, I don't think the colors show up that well in this video because there's lots of purples, pinks, oranges, blues. There's a lot of color in the stone of the wall. Here's the Lawrence Alma Tadema or Tadema. Oh, there's that little painting up there. Now his paintings are definitely a lot more, refined, smoothed out, a lot more detail. William Hallman Hunt, Dante Rossetti, this is a really big painting, almost like a really, really big illustration, but oh my god, the faces, look at it. It's like all these monks kneeling before the procession of a king. I've never seen this before, and there is so much that is beautiful. Honestly, it has an energy of almost like a Leyendecker / Rockwell. All the different faces, a story. Yeah, totally, you can see where the illustrators from 100 years ago were inspired. I mean, you can really see individual little baby tiles. I kind of have a feeling they don't mind if you video because the lighting is so bad. There's no way you can get a good photo. Either it's across from the window or the lighting is literally like 3 or 4 feet above it. It's so close. The sun came out. Goodbye, Petit Palais. You were very good to us. Very, very good to us. Scott is hyper inspired. I'm gonna go look at these poppies. Oh my gosh, this is spring. I love it. We're walking back to our hotel from the Musée d'Orsay. We're kind of like right in the middle of a roundabout. There's the obelisk, the Egyptian obelisk. We're taking our time because, well, oh, I think we cross over there. Scott, I think we cross over there. Oh yeah, beautiful fountain over in the middle.
I don't think there's a crossroad.
Yeah, it is. So I had no idea what I was ordering. I just put my finger on the menu. And it's kind of like a donut soaked in alcohol with whipped cream. And Scott got a chocolate crepe. And we're soaked in alcohol. And we're just sitting in the middle of the Trulili Gardens. And, you know, resting after the museum and talking about all that we learned and what inspired us. And Scott was saying that you were saying that Boldini really isn't your favorite. There's certain things we like about him, but you were so passionate about that other painter that you went and did that little video on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the mother and the children. And...
I think, yeah, we'll have to, I'm going to say his name perfectly. We'll get it perfect, but never seen his work before.
And the Waterhouse.
Oh my God, and the Waterhouse, yes. The Waterhouse.
We didn't even know those were there.
We did not know those were there. Someone had obviously donated them.
We actually might not have even gone to the list.
Merci. After our desserts, we're walking through, and the gardeners are all cleaning up the flowers, changing them out to the new stuff. Oh, there's a couple boats in here, just like in Luxembourg Gardens, but not as many. I see one or two. Scott and I were saying those apartments up there are probably pretty fancy with the view in here. I can't see a thing with my sunglasses. So I have to take my sunglasses off or I have no idea what I'm filming. They completely block out everything.